Yo, what's good, everyone? Coach D here with the Shift Method Personal Training. And I'm coming to you with part 2 of how to maximize your time in the gym. Meaning, if you only have maybe 2 days to hit a workout, maybe only about 40 to 45 minutes, how can you get the most bang for your buck for someone who's just trying to be active, trying to, get your resistance training in, find ways to kind of sneak in some cardio, and of course, get all the awesome benefits that come with working out. And so I'll link down to part 1 where y'all can check it out, where we had the same structure where you do a nice simple warm-up. We got 3 different circuits. Today is going to be the same thing, but we got different exercises, still hitting each major muscle group, but we got some different things I'm going to show y'all. And of course, we're going to have a nice thorough warm-up for you to get your body right, and of course, some modifications for each exercise so it can match your fitness level. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the warm-up and workout right here so y'all can see. Again, we're going to start with about a 5-minute warm-up here. We're going to get ourselves on the treadmill, get our heart rate up a little bit, do a couple of activation exercises with the band, and then we're going to finish up with a little mobility for the hips and the shoulder. Then we got 3 circuits, right? So 3 exercises back to back. The first one's going to be some step-ups, some tripod row for the back, and some skull crushers for the triceps. Then we're going to do our second circuit, which is going to be some RDLs for the glutes and hams, push press for the shoulders, and some easy bar curls, making sure that we get in some love for the biceps. And then at the end, we're going to do a little bit of core and conditioning for some accessory work. We're going to do some band rotations, some overhead banded planks, and some jack flies with the resistance band. So now that we know the workout, let's go ahead and jump into the warm-up. All right, so 5-minute warm-up. Remember, warm-up should be just to prepare your body for the workout. You don't have to make them 10, 15, 20 minutes long, being on a foam roller, doing a bunch of stretches. None of that BS. 2 minutes on the treadmill here, RPE 4 to 5. If you've seen my videos before, RPE is a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is you're literally sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing, watching your favorite Netflix series. 10 is max effort. You're running for your life because you made your best friend or your girlfriend mad and she's chasing after you, right? And so 4 or 5 is like moderate. You're working, maybe you're breathing a little heavy, you got a little sweat, but by no means is it max effort. After that, we got 2 activation exercises with the bands. We're gonna do an RDL to a press, and we're gonna do a low lunge to a row. And then we got 2 mobility exercises. We got some hip circles for the hip joint, and we have some snow angels for the shoulders. So activation exercises, of course, should be used to kind of mimic the actual movements you're gonna do in your workout. So the first one we're gonna do is a combo move. I'm moving RDL to a shoulder press because we have RDLs and push presses later in our workout here. So what you're gonna do is grab a band. Again, you can use the thickness of the band to determine how challenging you want it to be. And from here, I'm gonna grab about hands at shoulder width, bring them up to chest level here. From here, I'm gonna do a basic RDL where I'm gonna put a soft bend in my knees, hinge my butt back. Again, making sure there's still tension at the band at the bottom, and I don't want my hands loose here. And then when I come up, I'm gonna bring those hands kind of just below my chin, shoulder height, press overhead for a shoulder press. So we're gonna do 10 of these here. Again, really good activation for the glutes, the hamstrings, and the shoulders. Here we go. Last activation exercise, it's kind of like a combo of mobility and activation, is a low lunge with a single arm bodyweight row. We got some step ups and we got some single arm rows later. So I want to make sure those are ready to go. So from here, you're going to get into a high plank position, feet about shoulder width apart. You can obviously go a little bit wider, of course, too, for balance sake. I'm going to take 1 foot, step to the outside of my hand, make sure that back leg is as straight as possible. Hold for a second. And then when I bring my foot back, I'm gonna do 2 bodyweight rows. Trying not to rotate my body. I want to keep my chest square to the floor. Pull, pull, and then switching sides. Same thing here. Now again, if that's a little bit too much, no worries. Drop to the knees. Step the hand up, or step the foot up to the hand rather. Hips stay down. Bodyweight row, bodyweight row. You got a lot of options here. But either way, we're going for 10 on each side. And lastly, we're gonna do 2 mobility drills. Again, now that our heart rate's up, our muscles are warm, now we're gonna try and get a little more range of motion for the main areas of our body that are gonna be working for this exercise, or for this workout, most workouts, that's gonna be the hips and shoulder joint. So our first one is going to be some hip circles. I'm gonna get in tabletop position here. That just means shoulders over my wrists, hips are over my knees, back is nice and flat, like a table. From here, I'm gonna pick one side. I'm gonna do my right leg first. I'm gonna bring my knee to my chest, rotate out all the way, leg straight in the back, and back to my chest. I'm gonna do 5 going each direction, 10 in total, and then I'm gonna switch to the other side. Do you come here often? I hope so. Makes me so happy to know that you watch more than one video. Really appreciate it. Let's just know that our time together is worth it. Seriously, I appreciate it so much. Now, all seriousness, we got one more mobility drill, and that's gonna be snow angels. Again, you've probably seen me do these before if you've seen any of the videos, which is gonna be a good shoulder active or mobility exercise here. So I'm starting here, tops of my feet are into the ground, legs are straight, arms are reaching overhead, forehead towards the floor. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap my arms, rotate them slightly, my palms go from facing the ground to now facing up towards the ceiling, going behind your back, right? I used a funny joke, imagine like you're getting arrested. You ever been arrested before? It's probably a very familiar position. And then we come back to the front. For a little extra, you can do a little bit of extension to work kind of the middle to lower back, and then bring it back down to the front. But again, we're going for 10 reps here. Last exercise for our warm-up. All right, so first circuit that we got going on, again, I'm gonna put it up here for y'all to see. We're doing 3 rounds here. Gonna do 3 exercises, and after you complete all 3 back-to-back, you're gonna take a 90-second break, reps in reserve of 3. Again, if you're not familiar with that term, reps in reserve, meaning after you do the last rep of an exercise, ask yourself, how many more could I do? If the answer is 10, it's too light. Go grab some more weight. If the answer is I failed before hitting the target rep range, well, maybe you go down a little bit in weight so you have that sweet spot of reps in reserve of 3. So again, the exercises we have up here are gonna be dumbbell step-ups, tripod row, 6 to 8 on each side for both of those, and then a tricep overhead extension, which you're gonna do 10 to 12. And we're gonna have modifications for each one to progress them and regress them, so I'll go ahead and show those for y'all as well. So let's jump into the first exercise here. So the first one is going to be a step up. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do a step up. Good rule of thumb, if you're trying to determine how tall the step should be, about knee height is a good challenging place to be, but you can also go lower or a little bit higher depending on how hard you want it to be. I'm also going to show it body weight first, and then to progress it, you can of course add some weight if you want to. So 6 to 8 on each side. I'm going to start with my right foot first on the box here. And basically what I want to make sure is that the foot that's on the box is doing the majority of the work. Meaning I can very easily let my leg that's on the floor help get me up. But that's kind of cheating. I don't really want that to be the case. I want the leg on the box doing the work because this is a single leg exercise. So I'm here, focusing on the right leg, elbows are nice and tight, coming up to the top, maybe just lightly tapping my foot on the ground, and then slowly coming down to the floor, making sure that my knee stays in line with the toes. Now let's say you're like, Damien, that's a bit too hard. I can't balance very well. Maybe you don't have a bench or a box that's lower. This is where using something like an assistance can come in handy. So I'm gonna do it right here next to the cable system. Whatever leg is working, opposite hand is grabbing for support. So I'm here, you can have the hand out to the side or on the stomach for some balance. Let the hand help you out a little bit and control it back down. Kind of like when we do TRX exercises, right? I got my upper body to help me out just enough to where I can keep my balance, but not overdoing it to where it becomes an upper body exercise, as this is for my leg. And again, if that's too easy doing it body weight, well now we can progress with a little bit of load, right? So I'm here, elbows in tight, again, foot on the box, does the majority of the work, I'm controlling it all the way through. 6 to 8 on each side. All right, so our next exercise for the back musculature, like the traps, the lats, and a little bit of bicep work, is going to be the tripod row. Now, if you've seen me before, we've done things like single arm rows and cable rows. Similar movement, but this does require a lot more core stability, so it's a cool way to also get your core involved. So how this looks, wow, how convenient, I already have the step there, right? I'm using that same step that I did for my step ups. If it's too low to the ground, you can use something else like a cable or a bench, whatever you have handy. And I'm gonna kind of get into this low position here where I'm dug in on my toes. My back is flat, somewhat similar to a single arm position, but now I have a neutral stance. I'm grabbing my dumbbell, and I'm gonna start right here with my palm facing my knees, right? So now all the weight's to one side. I have to stabilize and squeeze my core tight. I'm gonna rotate, pull that dumbbell off to the side, dumbbell towards the bottom of my chest, nice and slow, back down. What I don't wanna see, right, is this over rotating, right? We're not doing a lawnmower here. I wanna make sure I stay nice and square, pull the elbow back, slow and controlled. We're doing 6 to 8 on each side. Here we go. Now our third and final exercise for get some horseshoe action for the triceps is going to be an overhead dumbbell tricep extension. So for this one, again, you don't really need a super heavy weight for this. You're going to basically start by making kind of a triangle shape on the dumbbell. You're gonna make sure you get it behind your head. Ladies, for this one, if you got your hair in a bun, if the bun gets in the way, you might have to let the hair down a little bit. Just be cognizant if anything's behind your head, like a hat or something, it might hit it. So you might have to adjust. From here, tricep, elbows glued to my side. And again, the big thing is I don't want my elbows to flare out too much. I want to be as closed in as possible. Extend the arms overhead, making sure the back isn't exceedingly rounding. And then controlling back down, going as low as I can. Now, if this is a little bit difficult for this position, I can stagger, put a little bend in the knee for some more balance. Or let's say that heart rate is jacked up a little bit, need a bit more of a rest. Hey, no worries. You can take a seat right here, right? Get overhead, squeeze that core tight, and fully extend. Whatever way you do it, we're doing 10 to 12 reps here, making sure we keep those elbows pinned to our ears. Here we go. All right, circuit number 2, very similar to circuit number 1. We got 3 exercises. We're doing 3 rounds, reps in reserve of 3, and you're taking a 90-second break once you complete all the exercises. The only thing that's changing is the actual exercise themselves and the rep range. So I'll go ahead and pop them up here for y'all to see. First one we're gonna do is a dumbbell RDL. Right after that, we're going to be doing a dumbbell push press. Both of those are 8 to 12 reps. And of course, we're gonna do a little bit of bicep action, a little bit of curls, barbell bicep curl for 12 to 15 reps here. Let's go ahead and jump into those RDLs first. Okay, so dumbbell RDL. 2 dumbbells, and this is a basic hinge movement that we've done before. I wanna keep my hands glued to my thighs here, right? Shoulders are back and down, so I keep my back relatively neutral. And the big thing to remember here, this is not a squat, right? I don't want my chest up. I don't wanna have a lot of bend in the knees. I want just a soft bend in the knees, and you gotta throw that booty back, all right? Push the hips back, chin stays tucked. I'm going to about mid-chin here, right? Don't have to go all the way to the floor. Coming up, pressing those hips forward. Imagine like you really gotta go to the bathroom and you just drank a nitro cold brew and the bathroom is about an hour away. Clenching those cheeks at the top, right? Again, push the butt back and then coming up. We're going for 8 to 12 here. All right, so our next move is gonna be a dumbbell push press. A little bit of shoulder, a little bit of cardio. And the big thing to remember here for a push press is While yes, I am bending the knees a bit, you do not have to go down into a full squat. This is not a squat to press, it's a push press. The legs are to give you a little bit of momentum, help you out, so that way if the shoulders feel too heavy to do the press, I can use my lower body to give me a little bit of extra effort, right? So I'm going down like a quarter squat max, right? I'm dropping down, I'm punching overhead, and I'm resetting every single time. So I got my dumbbells here, starting right at the top of my shoulder, little drop, punch them, and repeat. We're going here for 8 to 12. Now our last exercise here is going to be a barbell bicep curl. A lot of gyms have kind of these fixed bars where the weight is already kind of on, so you don't have to add weight yourself. Very easy way to go about it. And again, we're structuring these exercises because they're set up in a way to keep your heart rate up, sneaky way of getting cardio in, but also one muscle group is working while the other is resting. For example, in this circuit, we did RDLs first, my glutes, my hamstrings, lower body. Then I did a push press, which is the front side and lateral side of my upper body. So complete work to rest, one muscle group is working, others resting. Now we're doing an accessory for bicep curl. When I did those push presses, I was really working more so my tris and my shoulders. Now I'm working my biceps, which haven't really been working too much yet. And so everything can stay fresh, everything gets a nice little break, all will keep my heart rate up. So for the bicep curl here, we're doing 12 to 15. And really the biggest cue here, because this is a pretty straightforward exercise, is I just want to make sure my elbows stay glued to my side, right? I don't want to swing, I don't want my elbows to come up. I want to keep my shoulders back, my chest up tall, elbows stay nice and close to me, bringing the bar up, control all the way down, just till it touches your thighs, right? I don't want to rest here, and then come right back up. Third and final circuit, a little bit of core conditioning. Again, I'll pop it up right here for you. Each exercise for this one is going to be for time. It's going to be 30 seconds each movement. And then we're not doing reps in reserve anymore. We're doing RPE. RPE, again, we talked about that 1 to 10 scale for cardio. Think about the same way here, right? 1 is super easy, 10 is max effort. We're doing RPE 6 to 7 for each one, which means it should be tough, pretty challenging, but not max by any means. And I'll show you how to adjust the intensity as we go through. 3 exercises we got. First one is going to be a resistance band rotation. That's all you're going to need for this circuit here is a resistance band, 30 seconds on each side. The second one we're going to do is an overhead banded plank. And the third one is going to be a resistance band jack fly. Good for the back, good for the cardio. Let's go ahead and jump into that first one. Okay, so the first exercise is going to be those rotations. Resistance band, you're going to knot it on yourself, find it at an anchor point, and you want to get it to Sally when your arms are kind of straight ahead of you with a soft bend in the knees. The band should be parallel to the ground, right? I don't want the band super low or too high. I want it roughly parallel to the ground with my arms extended. So for me, this is roughly a good height to start with. So now what I'm gonna do from here, whatever side I'm facing, so I got my right arm here first, I got my right arm grabbing, left hand's gonna be on top, I'm gonna put a soft bend in the knees. From here, I'm gonna keep my arms as straight as possible, and I'm going to rotate my entire torso 180 degrees, side to side, right? So I'm here, I'm rotating, I'm pivoting that back foot, and I'm coming all the way back. If you need more resistance, you step out a little bit more. If it's too much, move a little closer to the anchor point, right? That's how you can kind of adjust the intensity here. Another thing, you see that I'm kind of pivoting my feet here, right? This is a good way to work the hips a little bit. If that's a little bit too tricky right now, don't worry. Just glue your feet to the ground and just worry about twisting your torso side to side. But regardless of how you do it, 30 seconds each way, making sure that RPE feels like a 6 to a 7. Here we go. Okay, so our second one here is going to be a resistance band overhead plank. Now you'll see that I've raised the band a little bit here to where it's about mid-chest, collarbone height, because I want it to be roughly near my shoulders because I'm going to have the band in an overhead position here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab each handle, and I'm basically gonna get myself into like almost like an overhead shoulder press with my arms about shoulder length apart. You can bring them closer if it feels a little bit better for range of motion, or if you need, to go out a little further because your shoulders can't get in that position, that's fine as well. Big thing I wanna make sure is that my hips are tucked. I'm squeezing my stomach tight, squeezing my butt, legs are fully extended, and I wanna have my biceps up by my ears. If you don't feel much, same thing. Walk away from the anchor point here, get some more tension. And again, this is kind of an isometric exercise. We're holding like a plank, good for shoulder strength, good for building the core. 30 seconds here. Our last exercise is going to be the resistance band jack fly. So again, I'm back to where my arms are kind of parallel to the ground here. There's two ways we can do it. One, if doing things like a jumping jack is kind of hurting the knees or gets the heart rate up too high, I can step it out. Where I'm going to do one leg out, pull the arms back, keeping the arms as straight as possible, and I'm switching every time. What's nice about this too is you can change the tempo, right? I can go faster, I can slow it down, whatever helps get you to that RP 6 or 7, or you can do the full one and get your heart rate up even more. 30 seconds here to finish up. Let's do it. And that was it. Again, if you only have 2 days that you can do in the gym, give these exercises or give these workouts a try, part 1 and part 2, which again, part 1 is linked down in the description below. I guarantee you they're gonna be a great workout that you can modify to your fitness level. Make sure you space them at least 2 days apart from each other so you have adequate rest. But if you hit those, you work on making sure your diet's good, you're gonna have an awesome training regimen, you're gonna hit those fitness goals, and you're gonna feel so much better about getting active. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I really appreciate y'all. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later.